Okay, guys, so this is going to be, the sales aspect of, real estate wholesaling. You're not a real estate agent, but you go and acquire deals off market. So I wanted to get in the headspace of, what's working, what I think is basically what I think is a good acquisition agent, and what's helped us make, $400,000, last year, and this year we plan on actually doubling it. So once you go over what's like the headspace of an acquisition agent? What is sales? What's the role? And want to give you all like my 2 cents of what's going on. So let's get into it. The acquisition agent, the deal hunter. Let's talk about the acquisitions agent. This person's your boots on the ground, your frontline soldier. The entire role revolves around finding and locking in deals that are going to make you money. They're not just talking to sellers, they're identifying motivated sellers, building rapport, and solving problems. They're basically like the blood flow of the business. What's their goal? Your goal is basically just to get like properties at a discount. You're an expert at negotiations, you're understanding market values, you're assessing repair cost. When you're an acquisition agent, you're dialed in. Like you're just literally just feeding on finding like deals. That's your role. You're basically like the bloodline of the business. You're bringing in sales after marketing. It's your job to start acquiring these deals. Get on the phone, start talking to these sellers, qualifying leads, like getting into like the nitty gritty. If you don't close, nothing happens. There's no profit. There's no profit for you to remarket. There's no profit for you to reinvest into, new streams of marketing. That's it. Yeah, as an acquisition agent, sales of the business, you're the bloodline. And so the best acquisition agents, in my opinion, they're relentless, they're creative, they know how to basically just like provide in sense like any solution to a problem. Without them, you're not doing deals and you're stuck. So like for me, when I think of Grant Cardone, or whenever I think of a good agent, I think of like Grant Cardone, Alex Hermosi, and Jeremy Minor. Like they all have really good strong suits and really good, sales. It's a little bit different with everybody. Everybody has like a different style, a different speed of doing things. Me, I'm a little bit more, to the point. Um, and I'm super confident in my sales and what I can do. I think there's a lot of better people out there that have like amazing sales that's been doing it for 15 years, been studying and get really technical. But sometimes like it just depends. Like I don't think you always need that. If you have amazing marketing, if you have really good fundamentals, you're gonna get deals done. So there's nothing crazy to it. It's literally just like talking to people, finding out problems, and providing solutions. Um, Understanding how to use human behavior to drive success. It's super simple. There's nothing, crazy about it. I just want to get into like briefly just identify types of people, and just to go over a just a little small story that connects. My first job when I was 15 years old, I used to work at Kroger, and I hated it. I hated it, and but it was like perfect because it showed me it was basically forming me up for sales. And the one thing as when I was working at Kroger is I saw 500 to 1,000 people every day. I was checking them out. I was the cashier. And there would be people that would be really upset or quick or friendly or whatever. And I would just like, my brain would just kind of like eat up all these, all this data, all these people coming in. And then me analyzing like, oh, this person's going to be like this. Oh, this person's going to be like this. Like my brain would just pick up on patterns. And so like sometimes I was wrong, 80% of the time I was right. Um, and so that kind of just influenced a little bit of like, made me understand like cell psychology and how people are. There's going to be reds, which are basically super dominant people. They like to make decisions quickly, isn't afraid to, they're super confrontational. They like the competitive atmosphere and they set their own rules. So whenever somebody's coming in and they're red and they're like, give me offer, or they're upset, or they're just like to the point, and they're like, this is what's gonna happen. If they basically feel like the color red, they feel like a stop sign. Stop. This is what's gonna happen. You're on my turf. you got to make them feel you got to make them feel like understood, and basically like that they win. So play the game at their emotion. Play the game with them. They're getting calls, they're getting texts, they're doing all this stuff, right? So like just play the game with them, and like know in the back of your head like, okay, this is a dominant, this is a red. I'm gonna have to navigate it like this. So hear them out, play by their rules, but also like um, they like a good fight. And I'm a red personally. I'm a red when it comes to sales. Super dominant, super just like let's get to the point. If you can give me the deal and the stuff that I want, and I feel like I won, then yeah, we'll do the deal. So for a red, you want to make them feel like they win. For a yellow, they're more influencing. So establishes connections with others really quickly, finds it easy to express feelings, forms connections between people, enjoys the spotlight. So these yellow people, they're going to be super emotional. They're going to be like, you don't have to always talk about numbers with these people. You can. I mean, obviously we have to at some point, but like these people are like, man, does this person have their intentions set for me? Is this person like, can I connect with this person? I do really well with yellows. I do really well in any salespeople that have worked for me, or that I've taught. They do really good with this, and they start to see these patterns, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna tackle this person like this. So yeah, for yellow, they just want to feel like, think of like your grandma, like think of like, people that are like, super just want to connect. They're obviously, we'll talk about numbers, but just like, you know, they like to connect, they like to be on the spotlight, just a good relationship, very, very relationship based, sales with them. Uh, and then we have blues. So the blues are going to be very cautious. They complete tasks accurately. They plan things carefully. They expect a lot of themselves, and they have an analytical mindset. So whenever somebody is actually like, um, you know, basically like if they're analytical, if they're like they're like, hey, I want to, go and, what does the contract say? How is this going to work? What does this mean? How long have you been doing business? You can be like, okay, this is a blue. They're a little bit cautious. Let me, earn their trust. Let me, give them what they need. And so like they're really process oriented. They're really analytical. So you just want to deal with like a blue, like, like, okay, this is our next steps. This is how we do things. This is the trust that you need. Send them, testimonials, send them reviews, tell them about the deals that you've done, get them, familiar with things. And then the fourth one, we have greens, which are steady. They likes a familiar process, listens carefully, shows understanding, wants to be supportive, and wants to maintain peace. So these are the people that are like, you can't rush. You have to be super steady with them. You don't want to like, okay, sign the deal today. They're not quick decision makers like dominance reds. They're like, okay, what's gonna happen? You got to listen to them, and then just support them, support their decision, and then also like, make them understand like where you're coming from, and also never force anything with greens, and study people. Never like, make them feel confident that you're gonna get the deal done, and that's pretty much it. And at a good pace. You don't want to like, okay, today you'll have to sign or the deal's off. If you say that to a study, like you've lost them. But this is just four of points: dominance, influencing, cautious, and steady, of just like how people are. And you'll once you start to be aware of this, you'll start to notice it on the calls after you bring the walls down of a seller. Usually their walls are up, just because they're getting a bunch of calls, they're inputting a lot of information for leads. Like, their walls are up. So I have this video here, bring the walls down and go in. It's a really good video. It's a whole 30-minute call on basically like the whole just how to bring the walls down to the seller, and hear them out. It gets a little bit uncomfortable, but I just stay in that pocket. I stay in there just trying to understand her, get a price, and make her feel a little bit validated. So yeah, and with her, I think she was a very cautious. She was in a red. but I would say she was a cautious, seller. So I would put her in that blue category, maybe with a little bit of green too. But yeah, that's a really good call that I would like y'all guys to go and listen to. And also I'm gonna have like other recorded calls, and so that's a good just kind of like a good library of what to go to. So here's my principles. Uh, Reciprocity. So people like to just return the favors, make them feel like you're working an offer for them. You're getting an offer for your finance department. You're running a free analysis on the market. You're driving by the property if you're doing deals out of state. That's something that I do is like, hey, whenever we get off the phone, thank you for the call. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get an offer from my finance department. Also, I'm going to have my realtor run a free analysis on the area, speaking about like what you told me or what we spoke about, and then also like I'm going to have like my assistant just drive out on the outside of the property just to take some pictures. Would that be okay? We don't plan on going inside. We just want to get some eyes on the property. Would that be fine? And so like whenever you do something like that, they feel like they owe you. And whenever you do all that, like all they're gonna owe you is your time to place in your offer. Like that's all you want. So like that's a principle that I like. Second is commitment. Let them know you're committed to getting them an offer and getting a deal done. What I like to do is just letting them know like, hey, like I'm committed. Like I'm committed. I know this is super annoying. I know you get these calls and texts. Like, dude, I'm human. Like, I know you don't want to get past this BS. You want to get the best offer you can. You want to get as much as money as you can, and you want to do it in the easiest way possible. Like, I'm that guy for you. I'm gonna work at that because I like those things too. I'm committed to getting something like done. If I can do that, can you at least commit, your time and your time and energy and just hearing me out and what we can present? That's what I like to do with the commitment. Liking, positive emotions with the seller. You know, we own. What I like to do is like, hey, we actually owned a rental about like 2 years ago on Smith Street. I'm not too sure if you're familiar. And usually, whenever I have my sales guys or whenever I go into a sale, I like to look at the property for a little bit. I like to see like what's going on with it, and then I like to see like, okay, there's a street over. I'm going to make sure that they're familiar with that because like I want them familiar. Like who doesn't like? It's not like you're yelling at your neighbor. I used to be your neighbor. So that's kind of like my position. Um, Authority, buyers trust your industry endorsements when making a purchase decision. Send them a testimonial. Ask if they have seen your TV ad or have sent. Yeah, even though you don't have one. So I misspelled that, but basically like you want to have like whenever you give them a call or a text or something like that, like I always say, hey, just real quick before we get off the phone call, have you seen our TV ad? Like, I just want to make sure, like, have you seen our TV ad or did you ever get something in the mail from us? We reach out to all the home sellers. We just want to see what's working. So whenever you put that position, like, oh, dude, like they're on TV or they've, spend money on advertising to send us like direct mails, it gives them like some authority. Also, social proof. I love social proof. So whenever they see like people that have like get whenever you do a good deal, whenever you close your first deals, get reviews, get video reviews, just selfie style reviews. Dude, those are amazing. Like those are amazing. Every time the seller's on the fence or something like that, I was like, hey, what's the issue? I send them the testimony. I'll be like, you know, this person was in your same shoes. Now look at them. I want you to be a part of that. And social proof is amazing when they see other people, doing, video reviews for you. Like they want to join, they want to be, enjoying that. Also, scarcity is good at a time and place. What I like to do is just like let them know, like, hey, whenever a deal I'm ready to close or I'm getting, my closer to, get in there, like, hey, like I want to, what's going on with it? Because like my finance director, it's between this one and another property, and I really like you. We've done so much work together. I just, what's going on? Like, am I gonna have to tell him to move on to the other property? Build a little bit of scarcity. Nothing crazy where like you got to sign today. I really don't like that. Just be, ethical. Like, hey, what's going to happen, because you have stuff to do and other people to take care of. There's not, you can't, wholesale or buy, every property. So yeah. And then the third one is unity. They want to feel like unified and just like together, and yeah, just make them feel good. Just make them feel good, and just let them know that like we're doing this together. It takes two to tango. I'm here. I'm real. I don't know if you've gotten this far with anybody else, but I'm here right now, and I'm here to take you, the whole way. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You can buy me a steak dinner. You can do like something like a joke like that. But basically, just unity, just making them feel like good, and yeah, just good with you. And that these principles, I think, are just like really good, to stick with whenever you're, just working on your sales, whenever you're understanding sales. 101s to identify. So one, introduce yourself as your LLC's acquisition rep. So I'm like, hey, I'm the one of the acquisition guys here at PG Home Buyers. That's how we have our sales set up. Verify the reason the homeowner is wanting to sell the property. Understand their why. After the walls come down, like get what's going on. Like, hey, like, yeah, like the property you're selling it, but like why? The three is verify the condition of the property. Ask if there's any major repairs. Ask if there's roof and AC, the major stuff, foundation. Ask if there's any remodeling done, updating. What's been done to the property. What I like to tell them is like, hey, I don't know anything about the inside of the property. If you had a unlimited gift card to Home Depot or Lowe's, where would you start? Walk me through the whole house, and like where would you start to make sure everything is fixed up. And four, verify their asking price. I always like to like, okay, cool. After you tell them everything, or after they tell you everything about the property, like what's going on with it? Like what's the price on this thing? Whenever you buy a car, you ask like, what's the price? You're gonna buy a house. What's the difference? Verify the homeowner's ideal closing time. So yeah, you just want to verify they're like, okay, cool. So like, okay, this is something that I'm probably gonna be interested in. You seem like you're asking a reasonable price. Now, like, do you want to get this done like later, or do you want to get this done sooner? Like, I'm not in the business to kick anybody out. So, like, what's your time frame? And then so like they'll break down the time frame for you. After that, you'll go back to your finance department. You'll verify like your max offer, and then you'll go back to the seller, and then you'll place your offer. You pitch the offer. Either you close it, you don't, or you do follow up, and basically you'll go to 8. You'll send them a via DocuSign, and you'll get that contract, and then you'll be ready to start selling it. So this is just kind of like 101s, just to identify and kind of like the steps. Um, and then also, yeah, I have the script that made us $400,000 last year. I'm always tweaking it. This is a good script just to understand, and get some principles and get the ball rolling. You always want to stick to the principles, and you don't have to follow the script like a robot. It's never like that. There's something just to like role play so you can understand intuitively. And then yeah, then you can just start pitching it to your seller. It's basically just like stuff that you stick to. You're never gonna sound like a robot. You're never gonna be like, oh wait, he didn't say this, so now I can't say this. Like you're just gonna, it's just basically like training wheels. That's all it is. But yeah, this sales is really fun. You get into this like nice momentum. You start spending money on marketing. You start acquiring deals. You start selling deals, and then you just start reinvesting into your marketing, and then just doing more sales. The one thing that I love about sales is it's a momentum game, and you start to build momentum, and then everything you touch just starts becoming gold, and just deals start coming to you. It's just this weird, fun energy that ask any wholesaler, any successful wholesaler that's closing and doing deals, like their acquisition agents, them, or if they have sales acquisition agents, like it's just this momentum fun. So yeah, hope this video helps everyone. Looking forward to the next video.